Hi, everyone, I'm Dan Abrams, and this is Court Camp.
Take him back! Take him out! I hope you die in prison as well.
Sir, I'm going to ask you to sit still.
We kick things off at a divorce hearing in Las Vegas, Nevada. On one side is Maria Wells. On the other, her ex-husband, Jeffrey Wells. Presiding is Judge Cheryl Moss.
I had already stated before in a prior court hearing that the father had lied to the court.
Maria is seeking a protection order to prevent Jeffrey from contacting either her or their two children. Wells pled guilty to child endangerment after his 12-year-old son, Cybert, killed himself using a shotgun that was left unsupervised in the home. The shooting was reported as a suicide.
He's always loved his children, and it's unfortunate that this accident...
It wasn't an accident.
This incident had happened.
At an earlier hearing, he was ordered by Judge Moss to keep all firearms away from the children.
At the time of the hearing, the very first hearing, I wanted to put every precaution in place. I know you own firearms, but when you have children around, when they were under your roof, you were supposed to have them locked up.
Ma'am, you show me a rule
Sir,
that shows
I'm not
the
gonna
Constitution of the United States that I have to.
Please. Because
Please.
court ordered.
I'm getting screwed here and I'm supposed to sit here and take it?
A court officer steps over to keep things civil.
Sir, I'm going to ask you not to make any comments in the middle of my decision.
That's fine.
Listen to her.
You're not going to disrupt my decision.
Let's look at this a little more closely. The judge is trying to issue her decision, but Wells speaks out.
I'm getting screwed here and I'm supposed to sit here and take it?
But if you listen, the court officer tells Wells to stand up.
Listen to her.
Perhaps that's what set him off. That's Maria Wells' attorney stepping into the fray. Looks like he's ready to go the distance to protect his client. On the other side, Jeffrey Wells gets some vocal support from a concerned family member. Several more court officers are Wells to the ground and try to slap on the cuffs.
Stop resisting. You gotta relax.
None of the officers are seriously injured as they get the potentially dangerous situation under control. When court resumes, Judge Mills issues the protective order. As for Wells, he's charged and convicted with 4 counts of battery as a result of his outburst and served 6 months in jail. We take you to the floor of the Oklahoma County Courthouse in Oklahoma City. And this is defendant Christopher Willis. He's in court today, charged with possession of a firearm while on probation, a crime that could potentially land him in prison for 10 years. Unfortunately for Willis, he just found out the judge has denied his bond, so he'll be heading off to jail. But maybe not right away. Once out of the courtroom, Willis is off and running through the halls of the courthouse, with Deputy Tom Lee and bondsman Ken Boyer chasing him down. And seconds later, he's back. The pursuit continues. Willis hasn't got time to wait for the elevator. Deputy Lee is still on his tail. And Boyer hasn't given up either. But there goes Willis again. No one can seem to stop him, including this group standing by the elevator. While that group by the elevator talks about the wild scene they just saw, they see it again. But this time, Willis is finally out of moves. His deputy Lee tackles him, brings him down. Boyer and attorney Holt Turberg help cuff Willis and turn him over to police. Who arrive moments later. For his attempted escape and firearms violations, Willis is sentenced to 17 years in prison. He's currently serving time in the Dick Connor Correctional Center in Oklahoma.
That's fine. The next
Jimmy Carson?
Our next stop is the Cleveland Municipal Courtroom, and who's in court today because of a trespassing misdemeanor that's just been called to appear before the judge. He walks up alone, carrying a backpack.
Are you representing, sir? My attorney is coming. You have the right to an attorney that carries a possible jail sentence of up to 30 days. September 20th to 9, continue to defendant's request for pre-trial time date.
Judge Cassidy has just delayed the hearing so Carson can get himself an attorney, but he has other ideas.
See you on the 20th, sir. That's fine. Your next
If we take a closer look at the incident, after Judge Cassidy gives Carson a new date and time to get an attorney,
September 20th to 9, time to date. 20th, sir.
he responds by hurling his backpack at her.
Next
The judge quickly ducks and hits the panic button under her desk to alert security in the courthouse. Meanwhile, Carson punches public defender David Eidenmiller, who just happens to be standing there in the back of the head. He's then tackled by the large man in the white shirt. His court officers come streaming in to help. And that big mystery man who came flying out of his seat and over the defense table to take down Carson? Well, that's Cleveland Police Union President Steve Loomis, who just happened to be in the courtroom that day. As for Carson, he's eventually subdued, cuffed, and led out of the courtroom. He's charged with contempt of court and sentenced to 30 days in jail. Let's head to Jefferson Circuit Court in Louisville, Kentucky.
This is the matter of Adam Satterley.
This is 36-year-old Adam Satterley. Satterley's in court today on a bond hearing related to drug charges. He's appearing before Circuit Judge Olu Stevens, heard off camera.
Your objections notice overruled. Motion's granted.
Satterley's attorney warns his client to stay calm after hearing the bad news.
Take it in custody.
Judge Stevens has revoked Satterley's bond, meaning Satterley will return to custody.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Now the new year starts. That's all the cases that I have.
The judge seems to be moving on with the day, but then
Miss Alvin, before you go, Sheriff, right? You indulge me one second.
Yes, sir, of course.
Can you knock on the door and tell the sheriff to bring Mr. That guy, Satterley, bring it back. You just tell the sheriff to bring it back. Over. You still have Satterley? You bring it back. I apologize, just give me 1 minute. I need to take that.
the judge has some unfinished business with Satterley.
Is there something that you wish to say to me?
No, it was my brother.
Oh, was that to your brother? Because I heard you say a racial epithet.
No, I didn't mean it like that.
Oh, you didn't mean it like
No.
that? Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to hold you in contempt of court for having said that. And you don't speak those words in here.
Yes, sir.
And that word particularly. You don't use that word. I'm going to give you 60 days for having used that word. Hold you in contempt right now for having done it in this courtroom. It's disrespectful.
hit with an additional 60 days for contempt of court. Following the incident, Judge Stevens offered Satterley an opportunity. If Satterley apologizes for using a racial slur, he would reduce the additional sentence to just a day. Satterley took the judge up on his offer.
Yes, sir. I apologize. It wasn't intended for you. It was... I was mad at my brother, that's all it was.
Well, you can have a seat. I'll say this, that what you said was a racial epithet that I don't know how it could be directed at your brother, but at any rate, I accept your apology.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Your Honor.
The little boy that sat in his car seat and suffered for hours upon hours. There's nobody here to speak for Kenton today. I speak for the victim. I speak for the life that was lost.
We now head to Miami-Dade County Bond Court in Miami, Florida, for the bond hearing of Mitchell Simpson.
Mitchell Simpson?
All right, Mr. Simpson, you're charged with 1 count of first-degree murder, 1 count of armed robbery with a firearm, and 1 count of attempted armed robbery with a firearm. 2 counts, I'm sorry. So you have a total of 4 counts.
In 2008, he allegedly shot and killed 15-year-old Emmanuel Lacayo after attempting to steal his gold necklace. The court-appointed public defender claims prosecutors don't have enough evidence to charge him.
Witnesses in this case that are claimed witnesses on the second page of the arrest form are witnesses to supposedly hearing my client bragging about committing the robbery and the murder. There's nothing in here about any witnesses that actually place my client at the scene of the murder or the robbery.
But Judge Maria Espinosa Dennis believes the case should move forward.
Regardless of who the source of the information is, it specifically says that the defendant and an unidentified co-defendant approached the victim. I don't think that at an initial preliminary hearing, the defense has to be provided with every single witness and every single item of information regarding the case. This arrest affidavit is all 3 pages, specifically in this court's humble opinion, does provide probable cause for all charges that are set forth in this affidavit.
Mitchell will have to stand trial for the murder and faces a potential life sentence if convicted.
Okay, so have a seat.
And he's not pleased.
What was that?
Your
client.
Simpson just pummeled the man who was standing behind him on line just moments ago.
Wow, this poor guy.
You did.
You okay? Is this guy okay? He got slammed for no reason. He was just the next one in line.
Yeah.
Nice guy.
Mitchell will eventually stand trial and was found guilty of first-degree murder and armed robbery. He's currently serving a life sentence in the Florida Department of Corrections. Next, we head to Jefferson County Courthouse in Kentucky for a case that shows just how emotionally difficult it can be for a prosecutor working on a horrific crime.
Okay, good morning. We're on the record. This is the matter of the Commonwealth versus Molly Shouse.
79, Molly Shouse.
This is the arraignment of Molly Shouse.
Ms. Shouse, you have a charge of murder, second-degree possession of a controlled substance, and possession of marijuana.
Shouse has been charged with murder after allegedly leaving her 2-year-old son to die in a hot car while she was passed out inside her home, high on Xanax and marijuana. The tragic year-long case is wrought with emotion. At times, Shouse broke down in tears during the trial, causing delays in the proceedings.
There's no doubt in my mind that your emotions are genuine. Nonetheless, it is necessary for us to get through this trial without interruption.
Eventually, the trial was completed, and it took just 2 hours for the jury to find Shouse guilty of murder. But before Judge Olu Stevens delivered final sentencing, the emotional...
Kenton Brown cannot give you a victim impact statement. And there is nobody here in this courtroom from his family to give you a victim impact statement. The little boy that sat in his car seat and suffered for hours upon hours while his skin seared against the hot plastic of the buckle between his legs, with his little wet diaper stuck to him in the heat. There's There's nobody here to speak for Kenton today. So, I don't just speak on behalf of this community, Your Honor. I speak for the victim. I speak for the life that was lost.
Now, Judge Stevens will have to determine her sentence.
Ms. Shouse, you chose the drugs, the life of your child. And so, the court will sentence you today.
Judge Stevens agrees with the jury's recommended sentence of 35 years in prison.
In accordance with the jury verdict, murder will be 28 years. Possession of controlled substance first, 3 years. Criminal abuse, 2 years. One endangerment first, 2 years. Each will run consecutive to the other. The total sentence is 35 years.
But the story didn't end there. In a stunning turn of events, Shouse's conviction and sentence were thrown out by the Kentucky Supreme Court. The High Court found the prosecutors were not allowed under state law to prosecute Shouse on a particular type of murder. In 2000, state lawmakers created a new type of second-degree manslaughter to apply when young children die after being left in vehicles. As a result, Shouse pled guilty to that lesser charge. Instead of serving the maximum 35-year sentence she was initially given, Shouse was released after serving just 3.
I'm delighted glad that you're suffering. I'm just thankful to God made a way for us to find out who you are, who you is.
Next, we head to the Cuyahoga County Courthouse in the sentencing of James Sparks Henderson. The defendant admitted killing 5 people and wounding a 10-year-old, all because of an argument on the night of November 21st, 2014. Among the victims was Sharita Johnson, who was 7 months pregnant. Her baby was delivered successfully, but died later at the hospital. When the day of sentencing arrived, victims' family members expressed their pain, sadness, and anger directly at the man who
Joe, that you killed my daughter. And that you killed both of my kids. It's not Joe that you had killed 5 people.
Their tearful words appeared to have no impact on Sparks Henderson. But one more victim impact statement remains. This is Delray Johnson, whose pregnant sister was killed that night.
I'm delighted glad that you're suffering right now with that smirk on your face. You in that cell 11 out of one of them rooms when it get real serious, because you ain't been here yet. I'm just thankful to God made a way for us to find out who you are and who you is.
As you can see, Sparks Henderson continued smirking. That set Johnson off.
Find out who you are and who you is.
The 2 men are quickly removed from the court, and Johnson is not allowed to return. After a 15-minute recess, Sparks Henderson is brought back into the courtroom. Security is increased, and Judge John O'Donnell gives Sparks Henderson 5 life sentences with no chance of parole. That's all the time we have for this edition of Court Cam. I'm Dan Abrams. Thanks for watching.